We do not want to do that. We just want that.
Do you know that I'm taller than you?
Are you?
Yeah. How tall are you?
I'm 5'5".
I'm 5'7".
Yeah.
Why, when we sit down, am I so short?
You're just...
Because I have only legs. I just have legs. It's messed up. Does that mean there's 30 people watching?
No, that means we've been going for 34 minutes or seconds.
Okay.
Oh gosh, time flies.
Okay.
And no one is watching yet because
Okay.
we are live.
So we can say that. There's a 1 now.
Oh, there's a 1.
Hello,
Hey.
hello 1.
All right. So this is Amy, and today's video I entitled it Quilting, Creativity. Actually, I think it was Creativity, Quilting, and Judgment.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
I'm the judgment.
No. And that dun dun you just heard was my husband in the background.
Hi.
And so we're traveling this week, and I'm visiting my wonderful friend, Terry, from Mountain Creek Quilts in Maryville,
Yep.
Maryville, Tennessee. And we're in her shop. She is a mentor of mine. She is wonderful and very generous in her giving. But we want to talk about creativity and judgment and quilting. And in my store, you know, we talk about the quilting police when it comes to quilting sometimes, right? You know, especially at the quilt shows.
Even
you
though
know.
they're not supposed to be
Not
any.
supposed to be, but
They're
there
there.
is. We know those people are there. Yep. And clearly I did not do my hair. And I like to say in my shop that there should not be any rules in quilting, but we do have a rule in my shop, and that one rule in my shop, can you guess what it is?
Not to criticize people's work.
Well, there's that, but I think that's just good manners. You know, and I assume people know that, but I know that's not really true these days. But my one rule is that you're not allowed to put yourself down.
Oh, that's a good rule.
Yeah, because I
good
hear a lot
rule.
of people, they say, oh, this is wrong, or that's wrong, or I want to do this project, but I don't think I can. And it really makes me sad for people.
The world is ready to put you down. You don't need to do it too.
That's very good. You're so profound.
So seriously, everybody's they're out there waiting everywhere. So don't slam yourself.
Yep.
Go ahead and let them come up with something good to slam you with. It might be better than what you slam you with. Maybe.
Yeah, so I think, you know, for me, quilting is a process. It's like a meditative practice.
Correct.
It helps keep me sane. And if I'm bringing judgment into my quilting and putting myself down or worrying about how it compares to someone else, and, you know, we never know where other people are in their journey, whether it's quilting or their personal growth. You know, those people
Correct.
who judge and point out other people's mistakes. If we allow that to kind of come into that process, we're really hurting ourselves, and we're hurting the people that we intend to share our artistic selves with.
I gotta go blow my nose.
You'll have to forgive Miss Terry. She is recovering from COVID. She's had, it's been a couple of weeks now, but I'm just so glad we were able to come out and visit with her. And then she was cleared by the doctor before we got out here. But I had said we were going to do videos at 7, and I did that right before we came out here. So I wanted.
I'll be good now.
Yes. Well, I don't know if that's possible for you.
I'll try to be good. Sorry about that, but you know,
Yes.
stuff happens.
Yeah, nobody wants to see boogies on the screen.
No.
And that's not being judgmental. That's once again good manners,
That's good.
right? So last week I was doing a very impromptu kind of improvisational applique project. And
I think I saw it.
I actually was intending to like fuse it and quilt it all in the same video. That totally did not happen. And here we are out in Tennessee. So I'll show that to you guys, or to you. We're not supposed to say you guys. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because
You all.
this is
country.
Use. We definitely don't do use.
Youans?
Youans, y'alls. Hey, Maisha, how are
To those
you
of
from
you watching.
Australia?
Well, hello, Australia.
And Kimmy K is watching from Michigan.
Yay, I'm from Michigan too.
She
Battle Creek.
is. Yep. And but I just wanted to pop on, and because I know she's just really wise about relationships and encouraging quilters and quilt shop owners.
Where is she?
You. It's you.
Oh,
It's you. So I want to know, what are your 3 tips? I'm going to say 3. It could be less. It could be more, for quilters who feel like they struggle with judgment in their quilting.
personal judgment.
Personal
start
judgment.
there.
We'll start there. Yeah.
Well, there's stop being so hard on yourself. If you want, yes, when you're creating something, if you put it together and you don't like it, then maybe you're not done with it. Maybe there's something else that you need to add to it. You know, maybe there's another step. I just love that it's a part of who you are. You know, when you're picking and laying out stuff, you're doing what makes you happy. And actually I love scraps for later, because I remember the quilt I made in that moment, and it brings me back to how I felt while doing that one project. But don't try to be, I guess I would say, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't let where you think you should have gone be as important as where you ended up in your project. I don't know.
Yeah. And what
Was that any?
I think I like that. What about when it comes to other people's judgment?
Okay, so keep your mouth shut. You never know, especially like at a quilt show, you never know who's going to be standing around. One of my first quilts was intensely quilted, and it was so beautiful that the quilt show hung it so you could see the back and the front.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I was excited about that. Now, the colors were not something I chose because I was making a shop sample for a shop that I worked at. So it wasn't my favorite color, but these 2 ladies walked up, and instead of seeing beauty in what was there, well, who would put purple and gold together? I was like not hurt by that because I didn't pick that out. But then when they went to the quilting, I'm like, okay, girlfriend, your step. But I was standing there, and that was the last time I put a quilt in a quilt show.
Aww.
And it shouldn't be that way. You should forge forward. And don't stand around your quilts waiting to see what other people say, because it might hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
You might not be so prepared for those ideas.
I think that's probably wise. So one of the things I tell my students, because I'm all about the quilting, and sometimes I have to really put myself into a challenge for piecing, because without something to quilt on, I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah, you don't have a job.
Yeah. And I also have to make sure that I am showing actual pieced quilts too, because I know there's like a lot of companies out there that want to sell knickknacks and doodads and rulers, and y'all know I love my rulers. But a lot of times they're shown on just plain fabric.
Where you're not going over humps
You're
and
not
things.
going over humps, you're not going over seams, there's no ditch to actually follow. So, it's really important for me to challenge myself with that piecing, because I know it's what other people need to see. And so I can really nitpick my piecing because I want it to be beautiful, because I know when I'm quilting, I am really right up there.
And so you see when you're off a 1/16 of an inch, like, and the seam didn't quite nest. So what do you say to yourself when you do that?
Well,
do you move on, or do you stop and fix that?
Well, I am a worrier, and I'm still learning to let that go. But It really depends on the project for me, because when I am quilting, my people are watching from my camera, and it's about 6 inches from the quilt so that you can actually see the quilt stitching. Because otherwise it doesn't teach you a whole lot.
Okay, so you want your piecing to be perfect.
I'm not sure I'm capable of perfect,
Well,
and I'll
that's
say
good.
that a lot. But if it's a project that's going to be used as a shop sample or something, or put in a show, which it's been a long time since I've put anything into a show as well. I like to tell people, if you're making a quilt to be loved on and cuddled with and held and enjoyed, it's really a fabric hug, right?
Yeah.
Don't judge it when you're right here at your sewing machine. You want to stand up away from your sewing machine and take a look at it from a minimum of 3 feet away, or you want to fling it out over your bed or your sofa and stand and look at it. And if you can't see that from that distance, don't worry about it at all.
I take a picture of
Patsy.
mine. Like when I'm piecing it, I'll take a picture of it and see if it feels right just from the photograph angle. I don't care if I'm off a little bit, because I feel like your quilting journey should give people 50, 100 years from now an insight to who you were. And if you miss a few seams, it's okay. I want them to tell the story of who I was as a quilter. That's why I make and I never make like a quilt that's like, I don't stay in a series of quilts. I don't stay with a certain fabric line or a certain designer. I go everywhere that I want to go, because our lives are emotional. We have ups and we have downs, and we have moments when we feel really bright and colorful, and other times when we feel dark and muddy. So I piece based on the mood I'm in, sort of. The quilt should tell the story of who you are,
That's right.
and you better sign it.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Even if you do nothing more than sign the back with your name and maybe the date, that's at least giving someone in the future a reference to who made it and where they were.
Yeah. There was something else I was going to say, and I can't remember.
Mistakes. We've been told that the Amish people put a mistake in every one of their quilts because they say that only God is perfect.
I don't think
So-
I need to fake a mistake.
I know, I don't. It
Do you?
always happens. Like, I will let a piece of fabric that was real close and you couldn't really tell if it was the front or the back, I'll let it stay. I won't pick that out and flip it over, because it's fun for people to find it.
Yeah.
As a quilter, like a long armor, I love to hide little pests in my quilts. If I was doing a quilt that had all pumpkins, sometimes I would stitch a little mouse in with a thread, just as a fun thing to do, or a spider web, or something cool that's easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I did that in one of my quilts that I made for my church when Eric was going through chemo. And in one of those waves, there was me in there, and me was not doing good. So me looked like a little bit, it was an outline of a body, and it looked a little bit like a crime scene, with the chalk.
Yeah.
That was hidden in there, but I think that's
See,
wonderful.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's who you are.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. It's who you are, and it's fun to look back. For me, it's been 24 years at the things I made in the beginning. Now, I can judge them in horror because I just didn't know any better.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to get rid of them, or I'm still keeping them. And somebody's going to get that and look at it and go, she was a terrible piecer. It's okay.
But they don't know the whole story.
No, they don't
And
know.
that's
That
why-
was the first.
That's why we shouldn't judge
No.
other people, because nobody actually knows the whole story. Whether that's quilting or a personal struggle or how you behave in the grocery store. Although I have to admit, I'm not perfect. And I don't lie very well, so I will say I sometimes have to judge people that are in the grocery store.
I don't
Some
go
of that
to the
behavior is
grocery
crazy.
store.
So,
I don't go.
but we don't know the whole story. So a little bit of grace is a wonderful
lot of
thing.
grace.
Yeah, a lot of grace. And we have to extend that same grace to ourselves.
And that's the hardest to do. It is, because we want, we have a clear eye of what's going to be, what it's going to look like in the end, and it might not be, and there are times when it's okay to put a project, some people say that they're putting it in timeout for a month or a year. It's okay to do that if you're going through something that just doesn't fit with the concentration level you need for that. It's fine. And it's also okay to leave something unfinished. If you don't, if it's just, you're just not feeling it, just let it stew until you find what it is you want it to be.
Yeah.
It could be something totally different.
Yep. Sometimes I do that quite often, and I call that letting the quilt percolate.
Okay, that's a good way
And
to
I'm not
say it.
even a coffee drinker.
What about when you're piecing? Do you spend time thinking about how you're going to quilt it?
Yes,
From
definitely.
the moment you start piecing?
Because I'm all about the quilting.
You got a button there.
Oh, that's because we have a low battery, so we should probably wind this up. Well, Miss Terry,
It was good to chat with you.
it was.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I just posted up a picture on my YouTube channel saying we were going to go live on Fridays at 7, and I thought, oh, it's 6:45, we better get on here. And so Miss Terry was so kind to jump in here with me, and
don't
I
mind.
will see you
Hanging
guys
with a buddy.
next week at 7. Thanks for watching, and happy quilting. Bye-bye.